High unemployment remains a big challenge for the youth. More so now, more than 60% of those who have so far applied for government's special COVID-19 relief grant are young people. Let's discuss ways of helping the youth, especially during these difficult times. I'm joined via Skype by Mario Meyer from Youth Capital. Mario, thank you so much for joining us. And I do suppose at this time, every little bit of advice helps, because we would have some rather despondent young people out there wondering what to do next. What are some of the challenges young people are facing, specifically when they're transitioning from maybe getting some kind of education or diploma or even just a matric certificate, and then to find that first decent quality job?
Good afternoon, Marcel. Thank you for having me. As you mentioned, youth unemployment is a big issue in South Africa. According to the most recent data from Stats SA, 6 out of every 10 people who are unemployed in South Africa are young people. And at Youth Capital, we are a youth-led campaign that has an action plan to address the issue of youth unemployment. And that action plan focuses on education, transitions, and jobs. In the area of transitions, what we've identified as being particularly helpful for young people to go from leaving schooling or college or university to getting a job is to have the cost of job seeking lowered. Finding a job is a very expensive enterprise. The cost of data, the cost of searching online for a job, the cost of transport, printing of CVs, etc., is quite expensive. And so we need to find ways to lower the cost of job seeking for young people. Another important component is young people's social networks. Most people in South Africa who manage to find a job use the support of a social network. But for many young people who are not in employment, education, and training, they have limited access to social networks. And they live in households where very often there isn't an adult who's employed. And so having access to that social capital is quite difficult. So if we can find ways to lower the cost of job seeking, to improve social networks for young people as examples, that would really help to improve young people's transition from school, college, university to a first job.
Now, these were all issues before we'd ever heard of COVID-19. I mean, the job statistics that really shocked the country was the high percentage of young people amongst the unemployed. And then we had the coronavirus arrive. In what you have been able to glean from the conversations you're having with young people that are coming through your organization, what has been the impact of COVID-19 on them seeking work?
I think it's important to remember that these are issues that existed before COVID-19 and lockdown, but COVID-19 and lockdown has shown a magnifying glass on these issues. So one particular issue that young people in our network have mentioned as being really a difficult challenge is the issue of data. Data costs tend to be quite expensive. Another issue we've experienced in our interactions with young people is the issue of connectivity, network connectivity in areas where that connectivity is poor. Even if you have data, even if you have access to a device, a cell phone or a laptop that you can use to look for jobs online, look for information online, if your network coverage is poor, that really hampers your ability to make use of those tools. So those are particular challenges that young people have faced. And in addition to that, I think the challenge of being in lockdown, being cooped up inside for long periods of time, has had a large psychological impact on young people across South Africans in general. But I think for young people in particular, the mental and psychological strain of lockdown shouldn't be underestimated.
Now, just if we look at President Cyril Ramaphosa's address on Youth Day, he invited young people to step forward and lead the change that's needed to try and stem this economic tide that the young people specifically are suffering under. You're a young person yourself. I'm judging you just by your looks, but you also are working in this space to help young people put their best foot forward. What do you make of hearing comments like that from the top office in the country? Is it all well and good to say lead the charge, lead the way, but is government doing enough to make that possible and to remove as many of those obstacles from the path of young people?
I think in South Africa it's great to know that youth unemployment is a national priority. to the extent where the presidency this year launched the Presidential Youth Employment Intervention. And it's wonderful to know that across government, across business, across civil society, there are policies, programs, plans in place to address the issue of youth unemployment. What's needed, though, is that these various interventions need to include both the voices and the lived experiences of young people in their design and in their implementation. I think what's important to remember is that many young people are already doing a lot. They're already taking action to improve their lives, to effect change in their communities. What we need, though, across society, across government, across business, across civil society, is more support of young people, structural support, to support them and help them in the efforts that they are already taking and implementing. Well, it's all good and well to encourage young people to get involved more, to take the lead more. But we must also remember that young people, to a large extent, are already doing that, and it's been difficult for them. COVID-19 and lockdown makes it more difficult. And so more support from different stakeholders in society and institutions and structures in society is needed to provide that additional support that's needed for young people now because of the magnifying effects of COVID-19 and lockdown. And I think that could go a long way to giving meat to the call for young people to rise up and to lead and take further action.
Such important points made there at the end. Thank you so much. Mario Meyer is from Youth Capital. Thank you so much for your time and your insight this afternoon. It's time now for our